Talks about Bitcoin mortgages have been rapidly circulating online, and I got tons of people asking me about it. So in today's video, we are going to discuss all about Bitcoin mortgages and how they revolutionize the crypto space. But before we get right into the video, welcome to Wealthmatic, your regular dose of crypto, wealth, and millionaire inspiration. Here we talk about the latest news, tricks, and tips in the world of crypto, so be sure to subscribe to my channel. Anyway, let's begin with the question, what specific type of assets do banks allow people to underwrite with for a mortgage? Why do they not include some other assets? And overall, how does a bank underwrite a mortgage? Mainly, the answer to that question is that it really depends on where the mortgages are actually ending up going. Banks do a lot of research for this transaction. They look at the person's capability to pay, their financial power, including their income and their current assets, as well as determine how much a person can put down in an overall transaction. And in 2008, the government came to the decision that a person's ability to pay is dependent on their ability to pay into the future. Because of this, Bitcoin and just crypto in general became a thing that they consider as difficult to acclaim. They usually just go for assets that are liquid where they are very comfortable. However, 2008 is already 14 years ago, and crypto has come a very long way since then. Over the past year, 1 in every 9 first-time home buyers has had experience in selling some crypto for their transactions in the real estate field. This just proves that crypto is an asset that is continuing to rise, and there's no denying its significant growth over the past years. Banks, as well as other companies, also should consider whether large crypto wealth makes a borrower's profile much stronger, thus adding to their ability to pay, or whether they have the ability to liquidate some crypto into payments for mortgage transactions. With crypto backing up an individual's wealth, lenders should be comfortable with people having this type of asset. Think about lending money to someone within the course of 30 years of repayment. You do not just lend your money in a blink of an eye, right? You have to consider pretty much everything that I said earlier, such as their ability to pay. You really have to feel good about that person before you finally make the decision of allowing the mortgage to be pushed through. There's a lot that can happen in the span of 30 years. To put it into context, let's go back to the 90s. I mean, you had the high rates of inflation, the dot-com crisis, and many more financial crises that happened in the span of the last 30 years. Given that time, a lot has happened. That is exactly why a potential customer should be thoroughly looked into. Like I said, you have to feel good and at the same time be critical and fair. Look into their income, earnings, and assets, and you properly assess whether they have the power to repay the debt incurred. You also look for the longevity of their income streams and think about whether they would still prevail over the course of 20 years. So, the prices of Bitcoin and stocks actually go up and down from time to time, thus making them very volatile. But does this create a huge impact on the borrower's net worth or assets as part of the consideration in mortgage applications? Well, first things first, you need the person to have the actual power to fully pay. And second of all, the willingness to pay must also be present. To dive in deeper, when you adapt a transaction with a structure like that of a mortgage, then you should take a closer look at a consumer's financial capability, which includes their ability to make a down payment, and if that down payment is actually enough as a mark for them to pay continuously in a given amount of time. Now, to put Bitcoin mortgages in the actual context of gamering properties, several things come into play as discussed by Joseph Rupena, the CEO and founder of Milo. According to him, investment properties play a huge role since individuals that are buying properties that are cash flowing are generating a significant income stream. This is also a good place to start for Bitcoin mortgages since there's cash flow from the perspective of income generation. This is what his company is considering right now, along with the geographical locations of individuals. In addition, his company also looks at Bitcoin mortgages from 3 angles. First is the consumer's ability to pay given their financial capability. Second is the type of real estate property that is being taken into the transaction. This includes whether the property is able to generate effective income streams, like could the property be sold or rented. And lastly, the third consideration is the overall structure of the transaction. Do they feel good about it? Moreover, Joseph Rapena also illustrated how they managed to have millions of dollars worth of loans to customers from all over the world to purchase properties in the United States, mostly in Texas, California, Florida, Arizona, and Colorado. His company saw very similar trends with each of these states, thus making geography a crucial aspect for Bitcoin mortgages. This shows that the majority of the people prefer to have properties in these Sunbelt states in contrast to other places in the suburbs. Now, one might begin to wonder why would people prefer to use Bitcoin as their collateral instead of other assets that they possess. Joseph Rapena further explained that people often want Bitcoin, but not to the point of selling it. People also seek to avoid any taxable transactions that can lead to paying additional money. Therefore, it's important to remember that just because their crypto can be sold, it doesn't necessarily mean that a person qualifies for a mortgage automatically. This is something that is not easily understood by lenders. Hence, Rupen's innovation, since he believes that they have the capability to comprehensively study all about crypto and refrain from making it into something else. On the Milo website, you can see that they offer 6 benefits. They seek to keep you on the upside of your crypto and diversify your unique health. The first benefit is that you can borrow up to $5 million for a long-term loan worth 30 years. Second, they have a safe and trusted custodian in the form of Gemini and Coinbase. Third, finance up to 100% with no amount of money required to qualify. Fourth, they do not require you to sell your crypto, as selling may trigger taxes. Fifth, they have amazing low rates at only from 5.95% to 6.95%. And lastly, the sixth benefit is that they accept crypto collateral, pretty much like what I said. They accept cryptos in the form of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stablecoins. Now, Milo follows the one-to-one protocol, which basically means that you have to have the collateral amount equal to the amount of the loan you wanted. Given the very volatile activity with crypto recently, you may wonder what would happen if crypto suddenly pumps. For example, you made a $500,000 loan and your collateral is crypto worth $500,000 as well. What if the crypto pumps and your $500,000 crypto suddenly become $1 million? Will the loan terms change? Here's what Joseph Rapena had to say about that. There can be 2 ways in how that goes. 1, you can remove some of it while retaining the initial loan. And 2, you can let them keep your crypto as your rate can be significantly lowered. This makes the transaction less risky for Milo, as well as for the consumer gaining massive benefits with a lowered overall rate. However, if the opposite happens, for instance, the value of Bitcoin drops, then Milo would have to ask you for an additional post, or you can reduce the loan amount, but only if it drops 65%. Once the value of Bitcoin drops 65%, then you would get a margin call from Milo asking you to take action to balance things out. Overall, this is very exciting news for everyone holding a significant amount of crypto. It basically means that the property market becomes more accessible to people who don't have the traditional means to get a mortgage, and makes crypto holders more powerful in the traditional consumer space. Go check out milocredit.com if you want to look deeper into this. And that's basically it for this video. Check out other videos on my channel if you are interested in more crypto and money-making content just like this one. If you have completed the video, hit the like button and tell me what you think in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell to get notified whenever I post something new. That is it for today. See you in the next video.